Okay, everybody, I think we should get started. Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Now, apologies for the slight change of layout. We're working from home at the moment due to lockdown. So I'm working on a Windows computer and I don't have my webcam today. So you'll notice some differences right from the get-go. I've also asked my colleague Blair from the technical support team to join us today because he knows a lot about CRICOS. Do you want to say good day, Blair?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Fantastic. So we're going to be walking you guys through the wonderful world of CRICOS today. You'll see on the screen that this is the last session, number 13 of 13. So thanks to everybody who's joined us for the earlier ones. But we're going to be going out with a bang today because, oh boy, is CRICOS fun and interesting. Let's jump into it. We're going to start off today by talking about what CRICOS is in aXcelerate. We're going to have a look at how you configure your CRICOS settings, which is very important and one of the first things to do when enabling it within your account. We're going to have a look at a CRICOS class and how to manage a CRICOS enrollment. We're also going to look at issuing a student a letter of offer, which is required as part of CRICOS, and also the process of confirming that student's enrollment, which is also required. We're going to have a look at marking attendance and also issuing a student with any attendance or progress warnings if it's required. And we're going to finish off by having a look at some custom CRICOS reports that we can import into your aXcelerate account. Now, before we start getting into the nitty-gritty, I'll say that for those of you watching this live today, please feel free to pop some questions in chat as they arise. We will be powering through the session, but at the conclusion, we will be going through and can have a bit of a Q&A. So to get started, CRICOS in aXcelerate. It's for managing your overseas students' enrollments. Now, if you're watching this and you're not sure what CRICOS is, then don't turn on CRICOS in your account or don't contact us and ask us to have it turned on. You do need to be an approved CRICOS provider before you can start utilizing this feature. Now, I'm going to jump into our demonstration account. Now, I mentioned that there are some settings configurations we need to do before we can get started. So I'm going to go into our system settings and into RTO/vet settings. Now, when CRICOS has been enabled in your aXcelerate account, this new window will appear. Blair, could I get you to speak to some of these points, just because this is starting to reach the limits of my knowledge on CRICOS?
Yeah, definitely. So the CRICOS provider code would be the number that the government has provided you once you become an approved CRICOS provider. The CRICOS portfolio checklist is the default checklist that will appear on every student's contact profile. And those checklists can include things such as the student's passport, their visa, their overseas healthcare, and other items that are required to be obtained by CRICOS providers. Then you've got the two default portfolio types there. So for the passport and visa, we would by default import these for you. So those would most likely be set in your account when we switch CRICOS on for you.
Beautiful. Well said, mate. Very well said. And that actually perfectly ties us into our next point. So once you've gone in and set up these settings, we're going to have a look at this passport and visa section. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump into my contact profile. We're going to have a look at some of the new options that have appeared now that this has been enabled. So I'm going to click on update for my contact, and I'm going to scroll down, and CRICOS related fields are now available. So you can, of course, enter the student's country of citizenship here. Now, the countries as they appear in this list go by the countries that are recognized by the Australian government. The passport number can be entered here in this field. And by clicking the plus icon, We can enter an expiry date for that passport. It's exactly the same for visa. We can enter the number in here and enter the expiry date. Now, IELTS, Blair and I were talking about this just earlier, and it's already escaped my mind. Here we go. It's the English language test for student visas. Now, I don't know too much about the nuances of this. Blair, is this something that you're able to speak to at all?
Yeah, definitely. So each student that is entered into a CRICOS college, they would need to go through an English test to see how well they speak English and whether they would need any assistance with their studies. So there is information on the Department of Immigration's website on the types of questions that the student would need to answer and how to score it.
Perfect. Beautiful. So once you have the results and know how to score, that can be entered in here, again, against the student's profile. Now, international contact is essentially an international next of kin. So you can enter their next of kin as a contact in aXcelerate and add them in here. And if there's any sales agents associated with this student, you can enter them here, but we won't be looking at that in the session today. So now that we've set up our CRICOS settings, there's a student that we want to enroll and we've entered their CRICOS related details. Let's have a look at managing CRICOS classes and enrollments. So I've gone through and I've set up a CRICOS intake. Now this is a standard class setup. There's nothing out of the ordinary for CRICOS enrollments. However, this is a timetabled class. If we scroll down here against the units of competency, we can see that I've timetabled this class in preparation for the session today. Now, if you do want to learn more on how to timetable classes, we do have a class management refresher training session that is available for viewing on YouTube. So this is a class that I've set up. It's a CRICOS intake. Now let's go through and enroll a contact. I'm going to enroll Oscar Weber. Now, with CRICOS enrollments, it's important to note that we need to send the student a letter of offer, and we need that student to accept the letter of offer before they can be enrolled. What that means is we shouldn't be clicking this enroll button down the bottom. We should be clicking enroll tentatively, because by clicking this, we get CRICOS specific related actions and buttons to click. So we're going to enroll Oscar tentatively to this course. Now he doesn't appear in this list because we're filtering it by completed. I could show tentative to see Oscar's enrollment here. We can see NE stands for not enrolled. So his essentially, well, yeah, it's been tentatively booked. It's like a shell of an enrollment in preparation for if he proceeds. And if he doesn't, we can simply cancel him. Now, we're in Oscar's enrollment within the CRICOS class. What we want to do is send Oscar a letter of offer. To do that, we're going to click on templates here. And I'm going to utilize a template that's already been created, a letter of offer. Now, if you do need assistance on how to set up templates, we do have a refresher session on communication in aXcelerate where we cover template building.
We also can import default CRICOS templates such as the letter of offer and also like warning letters for attendance as well.
Awesome, fantastic. We're actually going to be looking at one of those warning letter templates as well, so they're really handy to have. So I'm going to submit this letter of offer, and you'll see that it's pre-populated all the information that's required. Now, what we could do is we could just click save an email and send it off to the student. But what I recommend doing is saving to a portfolio. Now, this was a tip that Blair gave me just before the session, so no credit to me here. This one's all his. You can save the letter of offer as a portfolio document for that contact. Now, if you do want more information about what a portfolio is, again, we've had a contact management refresher session. So I recommend going through and having a look at portfolios. But assuming you know how to utilize this, I'm going to add letter of offer. I'm not going to enter these fields for the example today, but if you had a number that you wanted to enter, if you wanted to enter who it was issued by, as in your organization, for example, any relevant dates or whether it's signed, you can do so. I'm just going to leave these blank for the example. I'm going to submit. We'll get the success confirmation down the bottom. And what that means is that if I now go into Oscar's profile, we'll see his letter of offer in his portfolio documents. Now that we've done that, I'm going to save an email. This is the confirmation screen that we've looked at in our communication session. So I'm just going to hit send. That's been sent off. If we go to Oscar's profile, click on portfolio, and it might even be in other. There we go. There's the letter of offer. And we can view that, saves as a PDF. Now that we've sent that off, actually, I'm getting myself lost here, guys. We're clicking around. Sorry. We're back on Oscar's contact profile. Now that we've sent that to him, let's confirm his enrollment. So I'm going to go back into our CRICOS August intake. Now, keeping in mind, here's still a tentative enrollment. We'll see that here underneath the status. Now, because he's tentatively enrolled, we can confirm enrollment and schedule. Let's click on this. Now what we're looking at here is the enrollment screen that we're used to just when doing a standard class enrollment in aXcelerate. We're confirming the dates as per the class, the units of competency as per the class. Now I will note that this says credit transfer because Oscar has already completed this qualification previously. I'm just going to override these just with continuing activity for the example today. Scrolling down here, now this is just your standard compliance related information. We have gone over this in earlier sessions, so I'm just going to scroll all the way down and confirm the enrollment. I did not mean to click on Oscar's name there, I meant to click on the class. Fantastic. So Oscar is now enrolled. We'll see that we're only seeing completed or in progress students. Oscar is in there. We've sent the letter of offer. He's confirmed, and that's all been tracked in aXcelerate. Now what we want to do is mark attendance because that's also required as part of CRICOS. Now, in this example, we're going from the 1st of January 2022. So this is going to be a little bit different in this example to how it would appear on your screen. But when we're viewing the class, let's select bulk actions and mark attendance. Now, I will mention that in order for mark attendance to appear and work, the class does need to be timetabled, which is why earlier I mentioned that I've already set a timetable for this class. Let's mark our attendance. Now, in practice, we would select a date, we would see the student here, and we would select yes or no. In reality, because this is the 3rd of January 2022, and we're in August 2021, I can't mark as attendance because it hasn't actually taken place yet. You would see a green tick or a red cross, and you simply tick or cross depending on whether he was there or not.
Marking the attendance can also be done through our trainer app on that is available in both the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. So you could just download that app and mark the attendance while you are in a session with the student.
Fantastic, mate. Very well said. So let's imagine now that Oscar has not been attending his sessions. And so we need to now issue him with a warning because as a CRICOS student, he needs an 80% attendance rate. So I'm going to click on, excuse me, guys, I'm going to click on Oscar's profile and I'm going to click on templates. Now, as Blair said earlier, we have a attendance warning letter that we can provide. I submit this. This is just a standard letter just saying, hey, you need to be attending at least 80% of your sessions. If we wanted to, we could also save that as a portfolio item against the contacts profile. But for the example today, I'm just going to click email and click send. We've now sent that warning off to Oscar. Now, something that could actually help with this is, and this ties me into the final part of this presentation today very, very nicely, is saved reports. Now, when you are a CRICOS provider, we can provide you with CRICOS-specific reports. Now, these aren't in your account by default, so you would need to contact our support team to have them enabled. But we do have a plethora of options available. So while I'm not going to talk to each one of these points, I will highlight, for example, that you can run a report to see every student that has under 80% attendance rate. And you could even tie in a workflow, which is more advanced usage of aXcelerate that we haven't looked at in these refresher sessions. But you could create a workflow that is automatically emailing students an attendance warning if they appear in this report. So these are very handy. If you don't have them, but do want them, please contact our support team. They will be able to facilitate. Guys, that's really bringing us to an end of what we wanted to cover today. I'm going to bring the presentation back up. So look, in summary, we've spoken about what CRICOS is in aXcelerate. We've shown you how you configure the initial CRICOS settings within your RTO/vet settings. We've looked at how you can edit the CRICOS-related student information, such as visas and portfolio details. We've looked at enrolling a student into a CRICOS class. Now, the class itself doesn't have to be CRICOS-related. All it has to be is timetabled so that we can mark the student's attendance. We looked at issuing a letter of offer to that student and the best way of recording that against their profile. We showed you the best process of confirming the enrollment, keeping in mind we have to tentatively enroll the students. We've shown you how to send progress warning templates or warnings to double up on the word. And we finished off by looking at the custom CRICOS reports that we can import into your account that can be very useful for setting up CRICOS-related workflows. So guys, thank you. That's the last aXcelerate refresher session we've got in store. So this was a 13-part series, and look, we've decided that we're going to be doing series 2 of our refresher training as well. So stay tuned, guys. That's going to be coming later on in the year, and we'll be thinking about what topics to discuss. I do see that we've got some questions in the chat, so please hang around if you're watching this live, and we'll go through those. But anyway, guys, thanks very much for your time. It's always greatly appreciated. If you do have any suggestions for future refresher training sessions, please, by all means, reach out to the team and let us know. Otherwise, guys, thanks for your time and hope you have a great day. Okay, guys, that's the recording done.
So thanks for your question, Jane. So yes, you can allocate a payment plan to tentative enrollments. So that would be really great to do if you need to include the fees on the letter of offer. So for CRICOS, we do usually recommend creating what's called custom payment plans. And we do have a help guide on those payment plans. So I would definitely recommend having a look at that.
Yeah, actually, look, I might even be able to put that in chat right now because we didn't cover that today because it is much more advanced usage of aXcelerate and CRICOS. But here we go. Give me a second. I'll find it. Here it is. This is what we want. Now, hopefully, has that come through in chat? Sometimes it's a bit weird and blocks links that I send.
No, it is there. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, have a look at that one, Jane. That has a lot of information on exactly what Blair said, how to set up that payment plan. We did opt to avoid talking about that today. But yeah, if you're familiar with the finance side of aXcelerate, go for it. It's a great feature. Now, does anyone have any final questions? I do understand that that CRICOS is in comparison to other aspects of aXcelerate, relatively niche. So I appreciate everyone who's asked the great questions. Oh, here we go. Does the letter of offer populate custom payments? Oh, Blair, I think the answer is yes here, assuming that the template's set up to house payment plan information. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. So there would need to be a table in that template, including the payment plan related fields. And then when you generate that against that student's tentative enrollment, those fields will populate with the values that the student would need to pay.
Beautiful. Well, guys, I think that's going to bring us to an end today, unless anyone's got any last minute questions. Guys, I can see there's quite a few names who have been here in a lot of the refresher training sessions. So guys, thank you for joining. Look, we've had a great response to these. So yeah, we're going to be keeping this as an ongoing series. So guys, thanks for your time. I hope you have a great day. Blair, thank you for your help, mate. I know your expertise is much appreciated by both me and everybody watching. So guys, thanks very much. Have a great afternoon, and we'll catch you in series 2. See you later.